Many coastal Bend residents hitting the polls on Tuesday with Proposition A grabbing headlines. We'll have the latest results on that and other races having a big impact on South Texas.
Plus, it's not your average science class when Coastal Bend High School is taking a stab at forensics. What students are gaining from that program.
And yes, some visibility issues this morning, not nearly as foggy as we've been the past couple of mornings. I'm timing out how your commute is shaping up in your traffic report and a look at big changes coming to our forecast. Today is Wednesday, November 8th, and Chris 6 Sunrise starts right now.
This is Chris 6 News Sunrise.
Good morning and thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. I'm Taylor Alanis.
And I'm Javier Guerra. Yeah, it is Wednesday. It is almost the end of the week, and we got to bring in meteorologist Stefanie Lauber,
who had the most energy this morning.
She
I was
did.
just like
annoyed everybody.
If you guys know the song by JoJo, Leave, Get Out, we were on it this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, a little throwback.
A little throwback.
Way back Wednesday.
Way back Wednesday, that is true.
Hashtag Wednesday Wisdom. We have to do our saying.
That's true. If you guys are looking for an Instagram post this morning or a caption,
I always say
we
this
got it
quote,
for you.
so I had them say it today because I say it every Wednesday.
So
go ahead. Take it away.
If you've had a bad week, it's almost over.
If you've had a good week, it's not done yet.
Yay!
Yay!
Wednesday positivity.
But no, yeah, you're very positive this morning. I'm someone that takes like, I'm one of those like, don't talk to me before I have my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, you were.
The caffeine hits real hard.
You shush.
And Javi just sits back and enjoys the
Yeah,
show.
Javi enjoys the entertainment, and I'm just
I
like,
So it was like, I need you to walk away from
I
me.
know.
And I was
She's like,
I
Steph,
can't stop doing
if you do not stop singing, I was like,
Steph.
oh, what's going on?
I know
Very
you guys
lively
understand.
But- yes.
It's hard to wake up in the morning. Now I'm warmed up. We've done our first show.
Yeah.
It took a while, but you know.
We're warmed up, and you guys got to stay warm this weekend, because
We got big changes coming when
We
it
do.
comes to the forecast, and I'm excited because we desperately need some rain here. And you know what? It's almost in vain. We have a lot of soupiness in the air. There's a lot of water in the air around us right now. Some of that condensing into some fog and haziness for inland communities. That's what we're tracking so far this morning. Beeville, we were doing fine a few moments ago. We were at the full 10 statute miles. We dropped down to around 5. Now we're down to 1 mile visibility for you. Just a little more than a mile in Hebronville this morning. So let's take the wide view and show you where those trouble spots are. It's mainly for the inland communities, and Kingsville, Falfurrias doing okay at 9 miles. This has been fluctuating throughout the morning, so travel along 281, 77, and 59 going to be a little tricky this morning. We'll get an update on that in your traffic report in just a bit, but current conditions at Corpus Christi International Airport look like this. 69 the actual temperature right now with a few clouds out there. Humidity oppressive this morning, but a little bit of movement in the wind from the south at 7 miles per hour is helping to keep the visibility up. I'll be tracking that in your traffic report in just a few.
Tuesday was Election Day across the country. 14 proposed amendments to the Texas Constitution were on the ballot.
But here in Corpus Christi, voters rejecting the hotly debated Proposition A by an overwhelming majority. About 70% of voters voted against Prop A. The proposition would have allowed the city to repurpose an existing sales tax and use the funds for maintenance and improvements to several city parks. It would have also funded efforts by the Corpus Christi International Airport to create new flight options. And finally, passage of Proposition A would create funds for upgrades and renovations to the convention center complex.
According to city officials, a committee will be formed to tackle Proposition A once again in next year's election. And now moving to Clayburgh County, specifically the city of Kingsville. Proposition A for the city of Kingsville passed 783 votes to 492 votes, with 61% of Kingsville residents saying yes to the proposition. The Henrietta Memorial Center in Kingsville will now be converted into a nature and event center for the city through the creation of a venue tax, which would tax tourists staying in hotels within Kingsville city limits.
I think it's going to be great for tourism. It's going to be great for the kids. It's going to be an opportunity for kids to have something where they can go in and see not just birds and butterflies, but just all the wildlife here in Kingsville.
Clayburgh County officials tell us they had a total of over 1,800 voters this year.
Over in the city of Robstown, the mayoral race took center stage. Current Mayor Gilbert Gomez got 46% of the vote, and David Petey Martinez got 42%, neither reaching 50, which means there will be a runoff election.
That's what our democracy is. So we'll have to continue working hard, trying to get the message to the people, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, and move on from there.
I'm hoping not, but if there is, well, here I am again asking for people to come out and vote for me.
Victor Rona Jr. was the third candidate before the runoff. That runoff election will be on December 9th.
Well, the Education Beach Losa Midway held its first election in 13 years. A $164 million bond package included 3 propositions. All 3 passed. Among the items included upgrades to the natatorium and the construction of a new junior high, security cameras for all 5 campuses, and upgrades to the district's athletic facilities.
Meanwhile, in Three Rivers ISD, 2 out of the 3 propositions passed, including Prop A, which provides more than $8.6 million for new school facilities, and school buses, in Proposition C, which improves and updates the district's technological system. Proposition B, which did not pass, would have helped upgrade some of the district's athletic facilities. A big state item, Proposition 9, which would increase teacher pensions by allocating $3.3 billion to the teacher retirement system of Texas, passed, meaning teacher pensions will increase between 2% and 6%.
For a closer look at all of last night's results that impact you, all you have to do is scan that QR code on your TV with your smartphone. It'll take you to the election headquarters on our website. That's christv.com.
A shortage of officers is forcing the Falfurrias Police Department to make some changes.
10-4.
Right now, they only have 8 officers, but they should have 13 to be fully staffed. We rode with Officer Pedro Gracia, who described what he does to minimize some of the risk to himself.
For instance, I know I don't have a lot of backup around, and if I show up in a way where I'm gonna instigate or make the person I need to deal with more upset than they have to be, if you know that that person is already in an upset, they know they might go to jail. You just need to talk to them right. Like, why make it worse than it has to be?
Gracia says the department has implemented some initiatives to encourage people to apply. For example, they're offering sponsorships for those who can't afford Police Academy tuition.
Many of us know about crime scene investigations through TV shows, but what about the science behind it? I'm Nadia Escobar at West Oso High School, where some students are taking a stab at forensics.
If the chain of custody is broken, this is no longer admissible in court.
For 5 years now, West Oso has offered a forensic science class to its juniors. Claudia Wallace, the teacher, says the class was offered as an option because of the lack of science classes the juniors had to choose from.
We didn't have many classes for juniors for science, so we only had physics. And a lot of students don't do really well in algebra, and if they didn't do really well in algebra, they're going to have a really hard time in physics.
She says the class is hands-on, and students like junior Gerald Harper enjoys taking the course. He says the class was recommended to him by some of his friends.
It's like a lot of interesting stuff like bugs, deaths. I mean, you get to go over like famous cases like the OJ case or how Michael Jackson passed away, those type of things.
How do you explain that they are not here on this particular deceased person?
Wallace says a class like this is important to have because the students get to learn how to solve real-world problems.
Even if my kids don't go into forensics, they can apply what they learn here to other aspects of their lives. And it's very hands-on, so it's not just me telling them how things work. They're following through those protocols and solving those problems themselves, and they can take those same problem-solving skills into other areas of their life.
Like now I know stuff that I never would have known if I didn't take the class.
Wallace hopes to get more students interested in forensics and be able to bring guest speakers such as lawyers and judges so that they can talk about the cases they have handled. Reporting from West Oso High School, Nadia Escobar, Chris 6 News.
Good morning. Check out this gorgeous view from our CCAC Wada Skycam this morning. Another gorgeous sunrise. We see some traffic picking up on the Harbor Bridge here. So how is it impacting your ride around town this morning? Well, not really impacting anything at all. We're moving smoothly along 181 between Portland and downtown Corpus Christi. Around town, Ocean Drive, SPID, Saratoga, the Crosstown Expressway, Rodfield Road, and Ennis Jocelyn. Everybody's moving smooth so far. It's once we get into the Bluff, we're tracking those slowdowns that have really expanded. As you approach the main gate to NAS Corpus Christi, give yourself some extra time. Waldron Road, Flower Bluff Drive doing okay so far. Out around the island, the JFK Causeway, Park Road 22 and 361 all looking good. Just be careful with some of that construction out there. That's a look at your traffic report. I'll have your forecast in just a few.
And coming up, a Corpus Christi resident is losing her patience with the city over a curb problem. She's been asking them to fix it for years. We'll tell you what we found out after the break.
We have some breaking news this morning about an Amber Alert. The Laredo Police Department is looking for a 9-month-old little girl, Delilah Lopez. She is white with brown hair and brown eyes, and the suspect is driving a blue 2010 Volkswagen Tiguan bearing Texas temporary tag number 242-1V94. 1V94.
And we don't know if the suspect is male or female at this point, but the suspect was last seen again in Laredo, Texas. Law enforcement officials believe this child to be in grave or immediate danger. If you have any information or if you've seen these license plates, you were asked to call the Laredo Police Department. That number 956-795-2800. Again, that number 956-795-2800.
All right, now let's talk about our city streets. A Corpus Christi woman is fed up with a bad curb in her neighborhood.
I've been fighting this now for over 3 or 4 years now, and I'm not getting anywhere.
That's Shari Bushwar. She's disabled and lives near Everhart in McArdle and claims the city has been ignoring her complaints for years. We reached out to the city to find out what the holdup has been. District 2 Councilwoman Sylvia Campos tells us there's been a backlog of orders for issues like this.
I'm sorry that there are some areas or some, households that have more damage than others, but it would have to be the whole street that would have to be addressed. It's not just that one particular resident.
Waltham Street residents won't have to deal with the bad street conditions for too long. The street is scheduled to be resurfaced sometime next year.
Well, after we reported on stalled work on a road project at Port and Baldwin, crews were back on the job site. The project originally started in 2018. Monday, we spoke with Corpus Christi Director of Engineering Projects, Jeff Edmonds. He told us they had run into some issues with the contractor, but when we went back to the area Tuesday morning, crews were back at work. City officials say the project is expected to be finished by March of next year.
A New York couple is taking being Winter Texans to the next level. Tony and Kathy Teal moved to Port Aransas to do volunteer work at the Nature Preserve of Port Aransas. In 2020, they left New York in an RV to explore the country and help others. They recently became the Nature Preserve hosts. Their main job is to greet visitors, keep the preserve clean, and enforce the rules.
Just being more knowledgeable and just being able to help people, and that's our motivation.
How awesome is that? The Teals say they are looking forward to learning more about nature and birding in South Texas. Well, it was an event that was supposed to bring the music of Selena together with the artistry of the Corpus Christi Symphony Orchestra.
And all of it at Whataburger Field, but Mother Nature has other plans, as Steph said earlier. We learned Tuesday that the performance titled The Symphonic Music of Selena has been postponed. It was scheduled for this Saturday, but inclement weather forced the change. Ticket holders will receive an automatic refund. No word when a new date will be announced.
Now, your Chris 6 weather forecast.
Hey there, good morning to you. Yeah, big changes are coming on the way, and a key component of that is going to be some much needed rainfall here in the coastal bend and a nice cool down. I think a lot of folks looking forward to some fall feelings back in the air. So let's talk about some things you need to know before you go. Of course, first and foremost, we're looking at some foggy spots this morning. That will improve once we move past sunrise. We'll also have breezy conditions, but savor today. We will have the most sunshine for the next 7 days, happening today on your Wednesday. Plus, we're going to go into detail about what we expect from this cold front. So let's get on into that forecast right now and show you how things will be shaken up. Yeah, unseasonably hot conditions. It's nice to have that false fall feeling every once in a while, but hey, we need to get some fall feelings back in the forecast, and some much needed rain is exactly what the doctor ordered. But before we get to any of those big changes later in the week, we've got to get through today first. And on this Wednesday, we're starting things off on a bit of a foggy note. We are now down to a half-mile visibility in Hebronville. Beeville, you're back up to 2 miles of visibility, so an improvement. We'll see this fluctuating nature in the foggy spots throughout the morning. We're not seeing poor enough conditions to warrant a dense fog advisory just yet. But if you are traveling along Highway 59, 181 through B County, Highway 37 into Live Oak County, any of those places, even 281, you might find some trouble. Give yourself some extra time, and we'll get a look on how conditions are faring in your traffic report in just a bit. But conditions are warm this morning. We're in those middle to upper 60s for inland communities. One of the cooler spots being Orange Grove right now, down to 63. But we've seen the warmest conditions in the Bluff at Naval Air Station Corpus Christi. Right now, 76 degrees, your actual air temperature, and that's pretty close to where the afternoon high temperature should be. So, yeah, we're riding a bit above average here. It's been false fall all week, and it's coming to an end very soon, so you'll want to savor the sunshine today. Dew points, they help to give us a measure of how soupy it is outside, and because our dew point temperatures are very close to the actual air temperature, that's why we're seeing some of those foggy spots this morning. In fact, those dew points have increased versus this time yesterday on the order of as much as just a handful of degrees. 8 degrees in Rockport, 5 in Beeville, 3 in Falfurrias and Hebronville, so that humidity will just keep on coming. What does that mean for your dog walking forecast? Today's star, we're featuring royalty here. This is Diamond in her crown and handmade dress, looking beautiful there. And as the princess goes for the walk today, here's what we can expect. We'll be in the 80s before lunchtime even happens, upper 80s as we move into the afternoon. And those winds from the south and the southeast, 15 to almost 20 miles per hour. So breezy conditions may help a little bit, but all of this to say the atmosphere is primed for that incoming cold front. Where is it now? It's out in the Four Corners region. It's on its way, and it looks to be here late Thursday night into Friday morning. That's what's going to give us these phenomenal rain chances that last through the early part of next week. And I want to say these are early rainfall estimates, but we could be looking at as much as just an inch of rainfall to maybe 3-4 inches of rain closer to the coast. These are subject to change, so we'll keep an eye on it. But look at this temperature drop, 83 on Thursday, taking us down to 64 degrees Friday afternoon.
All right, thanks, Steph. Coming up, a Veterans in Focus report on a group of veterans who forged a bond in wartime are now brought together for a special reunion.
This is Veterans in Focus, sponsored by USA Concrete Coatings. From concrete to custom in just one day.
Sometimes the hardest moments of life bring people closer together, and it forms a bond that can't be broken apart. I'm Michelle Lorenzo, taking you on the road to the city of Odom. For this week's Veterans in Focus, we'll share a special moment for a group of veterans who close the distance, revitalizing a connection they created during war. At first glance, you'd think this was just a typical day out at a ranch. But for this group of guys, hanging out and enjoying Wednesday morning coffee together was far from routine. These Vietnam veterans came from all over the country to have this special reunion at Arnold Leal's Semper Fi Ranch.
I want to welcome all of you. South Texas, Corpus Christi.
Leal is a Corpus Christi local who met the other four men more than 50 years ago. They started out in boot camp together. Several of them, like Nick Page, were younger than 20 years old when they became a U.S. Marine.
So I would say I was a kid. Now, I wouldn't like that. My 19-year-old would say, no, I wasn't.
The Friends were among 500,000 U.S. troops sent to a foreign country in the late 60s. As Marines, they were part of a recon team, and together they experienced the height of the Vietnam War.
A recon team, if they do what they're supposed to stay clandestine, hidden in the bush. And the only time we would come out of the bush is maybe to do a quick ambush on somebody.
We took the responsibility for each other. and trusted in each other, shared things with each other. It's kind of a level of trust that I've not shared with any others.
After serving, each of the men pursued different paths.
I really had a degree in psychology and English, or a double major, but I ended up getting caught up in high tech.
Ed Warren stayed in the military for 23 years. He even became a sergeant major and led several units. But he said the friendship he formed with these guys when he first started his service will always be unmatched.
The only ones I stayed in touch with, this was my family. This was the brotherhood.
And it's a bond that can't be broken by distance, time, or even death. During the reunion, their joy and laughter paused to honor those who would have been with them at Semper Fi Ranch.
Corporal Hoke.
Reading the words of an author, Page described the depths of their friendship, made up of people they all will never forget.
Life might get in the way, but as long as I have memory, I will think of them all every day. I am sure that when I leave this world, my thoughts will be of my family and my comrades, such good men. That's what you guys are. That's why I'm here. And I think that really represents what the reunion's all about.
The 2023 reunion at Semper Fi Ranch was only the second time some of them have gotten together since their time in service. Now, they don't know when they'll be able to see each other again. However, the veterans do say they are thankful for several ways to connect. For this week's Veterans in Focus, I'm Michelle Lorenzo, Chris 6 News.
All right, what a great story, Michelle. Thank you so much. Well, all this week, A&M Corpus Christi honoring our veterans. The university kicked off its annual Veterans Week celebration Tuesday morning. Several activities will be held throughout the week honoring students, faculty, and staff who have served in the military or are currently serving.
This gives us an opportunity to be able to thank people for their service and recognize their service, but also brings our university community, especially our veteran populations, together.
Well, today the university will host a Veterans Breakfast. A Veterans Appreciation Lunch will be held on Friday.
The USS Lexington Museum is opening its doors to veterans this week as well as part of the Veterans Day observance. Admission is free on Saturday and Sunday for all veterans, active duty, and those in the reserves. The executive director of the Lexington Museum says it's their way of showing appreciation for their service and sacrifice for our nation. There will also be a Veterans Day ceremony aboard the USS Lexington on Saturday. It begins at 2 p.m. in Hangar Bay 2.
Hey there, good morning. Check this out. We are just a short time away from official sunrise here in Corpus Christi, and we're getting this phenomenal view from our camera at Snoopy's. Not seeing much traffic over the JFK Causeway, so let's check it out. How are the roadways doing? Out along the island, 361 Park Road 22 and the JFK Causeway are good, minus a little bit of a headache from the construction out there. Take it easy on that ride this morning. Conditions improving at the main gate to NAS Corpus Christi. We've seen those backups really shrink this morning, so that's good news for those of you heading out to the base. Give yourself some extra time either way. We are seeing some holdups beginning to develop along Waldron Road with some of the school traffic. Otherwise, nothing out of the ordinary. We're doing well from the south side all the way up through downtown. No major delays to tell you about, and your ride along 181 in the Harbor Bridge is smooth so far. As you head out, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. I'll have your forecast next.
Hey there, folks. Good morning. You are getting a live look from our Bobby Cam at 6:31 on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Look at that sunrise. It is just looking beautiful here in the coastal bend. You got the purples, you got the pinks, you got the blues. It's just looking nice. Well, we are expecting to get a cool down soon and some overcast skies and some rain. So if you like the sun, enjoy it while you can. Meteorologist Stefanie will let you know the details in just a bit.
We probably think you know where all your money is, but you might be surprised.
Just a bit. Consumer reporter Don Matarese found that the government is sitting on billions of dollars in unclaimed cash, just waiting for owners to come forward.
If you've ever found some money in a couch or an old comfy chair, or maybe your pockets, you know how exciting that can be. But have you checked with the government for unclaimed property? You just might find a lot more than this.
We asked these lunchtime diners to look up their names on the national database.
Have you ever found unclaimed funds before?
I have not. I'm assuming those are all me.
Jordan Toney got a pleasant surprise. What does it say?
Have $25 to $50 unclaimed.
Garen Gibson found $50 from a cell phone carrier. Was it surprising to find that?
It was, actually. I didn't know about it. I always tell people this is like the best job in state government.
Patty Wilson is the unclaimed property administrator for the state of Washington. She works every day to help connect people with forgotten money.
We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars in unclaimed funds that are being held.
Those funds are things like uncashed checks, insurance payouts, or old apartment deposits. If the business can't find you, by law, they have to turn that money over to the government. 1 in 7 Americans has abandoned cash.
The folks that are like, I know every penny and where it's at, those are the people that are going to have something out there. It is what I found.
We want to help you check, so pull out your phone. Scan the QR code on your screen. That will take you to missingmoney.com, where you can then type in your name. The database will scan every state you've lived in for unclaimed funds. If it finds something, you just need to click Claim, then follow the instructions to prove your identity. Next thing you know, you'll be getting a check in the mail just in time for the holidays.
It can really make, someone's day.
Jonathan Coleman found
Between $50 and $100, so that's not bad. That's money I didn't have before.
and that way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
Well, some Starbucks employees will be getting bigger paychecks soon. They will increase wages on January 1st for non-union workers. Employees who've been with the company for years or less will receive a 4% raise, while those who worked for 5 years or more will get a 5% increase. More employees will also be eligible for vacation days. Starbucks says the new benefits will not be available to workers at unionized stores. Well, Americans are racking up more debt, according to a new study by Wallet Hub. U.S. households increased their total debt by $78 billion in the third quarter. The average household now owes about $145,000. The number is expected to soar as we head into the holiday season. Wallet Hub projects U.S. households to end the year with $350 billion more debt than when they started.
Well, crooks could have access to sensitive data belonging to thousands of military members. A new study at Duke University shows that personal information for veterans and service members can easily be bought online. It says people can pay data brokers a few pennies to obtain military members' names, addresses, health, and financial information. Researchers warn that bad actors could use the information to blackmail or spread misinformation about U.S. troops and their families.
Now, your Chris 6 weather forecast.
Hey there, good morning to you. Always enjoying the view from our sky cams. Yesterday online, I posted on my social media pages, pick your favorite sky cam. Is it our studio sky cam or our Wata Sky Cam? A lot of you said the Whataburger Field one. We got to give some love to the studio sky cam this morning, though. Take in the view right now in full view. It is beautiful this morning. We've been really lucky to enjoy some very picturesque sunrises the past couple of mornings, and you need to savor it because overcast skies are going to be a part of the big changes that we see after our next cold front. So it'll be a while before we get to enjoy these once we move into the weekend. But yeah, pretty calm start across the coastal bend. We've been dealing with a little bit of fogginess for inland communities. Not nearly as bad as the previous mornings we've had here in the coastal bend, but we're at 2 miles of visibility in Beeville. Not getting that reading in Orange Grove, but fog expected to be troublesome out there. We're down to 0.3 of a mile in Hebronville and at the full 10 statute miles in Falfurrias. So this just lets you know some of this has been fluctuating throughout the morning. If you're traveling along Highway 59, 181 inland, Highway 281, even Highway 77 could see some haziness out there, though our reporting station's looking good from Kingsville up through Robstown. It's a good idea to give yourself a little bit of extra time before you head out. Things looking better this morning because our winds have been shaking and moving, but our temperatures, those have been sinking into the 60s for inland communities, and that's been triggering some of that fog. We start moving towards the 70-degree mark as you head closer to the coastline, and wow, look at this reading. NAS Corpus Christi, 76 degrees. That's about where we should be seeing our afternoon high temperature topping out. So yeah, it's a little warm this morning. A few things to know before you go on the forecast. Yep, another foggy morning here, but it will get better after sunrise in just a short time. Partly cloudy skies expected today, but still unseasonably hot. This warmth and humidity persists. Make sure you get out and enjoy today, though. It's going to be the sunniest day out of the next 7 because we have big changes ahead with our next cold front. So enjoy the sunshine and the heat. How warm are we talking? Well, for that, we turn to the dog walking forecast and our star Diamond, royalty with her crown today. Well, this princess will see the temperatures rising to the middle to upper 80s by lunchtime, and it's going to be a breezy one with those winds from the south or the south-southeast around 15 to 20 miles per hour this afternoon. We're also looking at an increase in moisture. Notice how the green really picks up Thursday night. That's when we expect the front to come through and really wring out the rainfall here in the forecast, but we'll still keep the humidity around on Saturday. Some light rain expected throughout the weekend, so our rain chances are looking very good here over the next 7 days. Check it out. Thursday night, the front comes through and brings us our best opportunity for rain. We carry that into the beginning of next week, and our rainfall totals are looking very promising right now, but I want to remind you, though we're expecting anywhere from about 1.5 to as many as 4 inches of rainfall across the coastal bend. These totals are subject to change. We're keeping a careful eye on this forecast and the timing of the front. But look at the cool down, 83 Thursday afternoon, 60 degrees by Friday morning.